We're live on both finally. Now we're live on YouTube as well. Sheesh, that was a little weird that went on, but oh my bejesus. We're finally getting it. We are finally getting Tesla, sorry, not Tesla, SpaceX IPO for next year. And that is insane. That is absolutely insane. How is my audio, everyone? I think my audio should be okay. And, unexpected live. Um, I think I should be good. It should be good. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me. But I'm doing a quick sound check and it looks like you guys can see. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. I know this is a very weird live session. Not weird, but very late. I never do a live session this late. But when we have in crazy news like this, and I got the time for it because now I'm in Toronto. So it's it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you guys haven't already. Let's go. What's going on? Fall first indeed. Fab. What's up, my man? What's up? What's up? Yo, what's going on? What's going on, bro? I'll tell you what's going on. We're finally getting some confirmation that SpaceX is IPOing next year. Now that is insane because as an all-in Tesla investor, what the heck do we do? Do we get prioritized? Do we save a little bit of our money and not buy Tesla and just wait until IPO? I don't know. I think this is gonna be the biggest IPO offering in history. Oh man, I don't know what's gonna be after that. What's live about? You never went live at this time. I know because it's big stuff, bro. SpaceX is IPOing. That's what it is. It's a sheesh moment indeed. It's a sheesh moment indeed. Loyalty deserves loyalty. Elon said so on X. I hope so. I hope people who's been holding Tesla stock, I don't know, from like 2020 and onwards, I guess. I've got some stars going on in the background too because of SpaceX, right? They should be able to get like something. I don't know, some good stuff. I don't know. Let's see. I'm in. So let's go read about it a little bit because there is some. Let's see. There's some stuff going on with it. All right. So here we go. It says, Eric. Berger, if I'm not mistaken, he's a space guy, senior space editor at Ars Technica, likes rockets, and author about books and Falcon 9 and loves about all these stuff. So space stuff. He writes, here's why I think Tesla SpaceX is going to public soon. Elon Musk replies back to him, saying, as usual, Eric is correct. Like, if that is not the biggest signal or the biggest proof or the biggest hint that it's going to go, live or, not live, we're live, IPO next year, then I don't know what is. Because the article, I'm sure Elon read the article, right? Right? Article says this. After years of resisting, SpaceX now is planned to go public. Why? Much of the AI risk comes down to amassing and deploying assets. Let's read this. Let's read this together because this is crazy stuff. SpaceX is planning to raise tens of billions of dollars through an initial public offering next year, multiple outlets have reported, and ours can confirm. This represents a major change in thinking from the world's leading space company and its founder, Elon Musk. Elon says this is accurate. Next year. Initial public offering, that's IPO. Next year. That's insane. The Wall Street Journal and The Information first reported about a possible IPO last Friday, and Bloomberg followed that up on Tuesday evening with a report suggesting that company would target a 1.5 trillion valuation that would put SpaceX to raise in excess of $30 billion. Right now, it looks like IPO is valued around like $400 billion or $500 billion. That's $1 trillion, guys. That is insane. Like, that is crazy. What will you guys do if SpaceX goes IPO? What will you guys do? Will you guys sell some stock? I've talked to buy some SpaceX. Would you use fresh funds? What would you guys do? I wrote that on X as well, and I got a lot of stuff. But 1.5 trillion with what shares outstanding and what stock price? It's going to be very interesting to see what's going to happen. Sheesh. This is an enormous amount of funding. The largest IPO in history occurred in 2019 when the state-owned Saudi Arabian oil company which is Saudi Aramco, uh, they raised $29 billion. In terms of revenue, Aramco is a top 5 company in the world. Now, SpaceX is poised to potentially match or exceed this value. That, that SpaceX will be attractive to public investors is not a surprise. It's the world's dominant space company in launch, space-based communications, and much more. For investors seeking ultimate growth, space is the final frontier. It is. And you know what? 1.5 trillion. I know that sounds insane, and I think I don't think there's gonna be a sell-off if once this goes IPO, because I think a lot of people will jump on the bandwagon on this. I think a lot of people would want exposure to SpaceX. I know you can get it through Google, you can get it through the Barron Fund right now, and if you're a credited investor, you can actually invest in SpaceX as well. But there's only I don't think there's gonna be a lot of selling going on. Maybe a little bit, but this is a company that is poised to go to the tens of trillions and even more, because this is the only company that can do what it can do. This is when you invest in SpaceX, you're investing in Starlink and other things. Now, this could be just a Starlink launch, but this is looking like a SpaceX launch. I don't know. We're just going based on this news that Elon confirmed that it is accurate, which means that, man, could you imagine SpaceX going flipping IPO next year? That is insane. Let's continue with this article because it gets pretty darn juicy. By what? By? I think it meant, but I think it's supposed to be but why would Musk take SpaceX public now, at a time when the company's revenues are surging thanks to the growth of Starlink internet constellation? The decision is surprising because Musk has for so long resisted going public with SpaceX. He has not enjoyed the public scrutiny of Tesla and feared that shareholder desires for financial return were not consistent with his ultimate goal of settling Mars. Now, that is correct. He doesn't like to have IPOs, but having these companies public. But he has signaled SpaceX to go public sometime for years now. And I think he doesn't want to backtrack on that promise. I think he's probably, was like, I gotta, I don't want to, besides, once we go in the stock market, we're going to raise a whole bunch of money to do other things. I don't know. I think this is interesting because I just had a really good idea. It was a really good point. I just slipped out of my mind. That's the problem with these live videos, and it's also like 10 p.m. here. Yeah, Elon. Oh, here's the point. It just came right back to me. Elon said that SpaceX would IPO once he knows that they're making a steady revenue and profits. Now, it seems like next year, that seems to be the year, right? I don't know. This is interesting. This is very interesting. So let's continue with this. Data centers. R spoke with multiple people familiar with Musk and his thinking to understand why he would want to take SpaceX public. A significant shift in recent years has been the rise of artificial intelligence, which Musk has been involved in since 2015, when he co-founded OpenAI. And period. He later had a falling out with the co-founders. I think we all know who that is, and started his own company, XAI, in 2023. At Tesla, he has been pushing smart driving technology forward and more recently focused on robotics. Musk sees a convergence of these technologies in the near future, which he believes will profoundly change civilization. Yes, I had a podcast with Phil. It's right now available for members only, and I have 2 other podcasts coming up, one with Joseph and one with Joe, and that's going to be for members only first, and then it'll be for public everyone. So if you're a member only and you've watched Phil and I's podcast, we talked about the AI 5, the AI 8, we talked about the Terafab, we talked about exactly this with SpaceX and stuff like that, which is insane. And we had this podcast last week. It'll be up this Saturday, so hold on tight. Saturday morning, so be ready for that podcast. It was a really good podcast. If you guys aren't a YouTube member, I don't know what you guys are doing. There's a lot of good stuff coming for members. So This is exactly what Phil was talking about, and we're talking about it right here, which is actually bang on. So shout out to Phil. Shout out to Phil. Raising large amounts of money in the next 18 months would allow Musk to have significant capital to deploy at SpaceX as he influences and partakes in this convergence of technology. How can SpaceX play in this space? In the near term, the company plans to develop a modified version of the Starlink satellite to serve as a foundation for building data centers in space. This is insane. This is insane. Data centers in space. Musk said as much on social media networks he owns X. In late October, SpaceX will be doing this. But using a next generation Starlink satellite manufactured on Earth is just the beginning of his vision. The level beyond that is constructing satellite factories on the moon and using a mass driver, electron magnetic railgun to accelerate AI satellites to lunar escape velocity without the need for rockets, Musk said this weekend on X. That's right. That scales to over 100 terawatt per year of AI and enables non-trivial progress towards becoming a Kardavesh 2 civilization. Yeah. All this stuff is just, it's insane to me. Like we're talking about putting data centers in space. Bro, I just want robo taxis. We're talking about data centers in space. I don't know. This is, I continue. This is based on some projects and analysis. SpaceX is expected to have in the neighborhood of 22 to 24 billion in revenue next year. Wow. That is a lot of money. It's on par with, how is SpaceX making money? What are they selling other than Starlink, of course? Like, can you guys comment to me? Like, what is SpaceX selling really that they're making $24 billion annually? Is this because of Starlink? It can't just be all that from Starlink. Is it? That is insane. I don't know. Let's continue with this. It's on par with NASA's annual budget, for example. And SpaceX can deploy its capital far, far more efficiently than the government can. So the company will be able to accomplish a lot. But with a large infusion of cash, SpaceX will be able to go much faster. And it will take a lot of cash to design and build the satellites and launch the rockets to deploy data centers in space. Abhi Tripathi, a longtime SpaceX employee who is now director of mission operations at the UC Berkeley Space Sciences Laboratory, believes that once Musk realized Starlink satellites could be architected into a distributed network of data centers, the writing was on the wall. Wow. That is the moment an IPO suddenly came into play after being unliked for so long, Tripathi told ours. If you have followed Elon's tactics, you know that once he commits to something, he leans fully into it. Much of the AI race comes down to amassing and deploying assets that work quicker than your competition. A large war chest resulting from an IPO will greatly help his cause and disadvantage all others. Yeah, and this is why I think Tesla will make the Terafab. Elon's going to push for the Terafab. Yeah, that this is 100%, because this is exactly what's going on with if I'm linking it back to Tesla. Woo! Someone said something really interesting here. He is doing all this just to crush Sam Altman. Man, could you imagine? Wow, that would be insane. Government contracts. I mean, wow. Government's giving him $24 billion, $20 billion. That is, I need to see the income statement for this company. I want to see the income statement. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to buy some shares of this. But let's continue with this. Foremost among Musk's goals of AI. Exactly. Sam Altman. He is already attacking the program at XAI and Tesla, and he now seeks to throw SpaceX into the fray as well, taking SpaceX public and using it to marshal an incredible amount of resources show he is playing to win, and you don't want to bet against this guy. So, and now we're going to talk about Mars. What about Mars? Musk founded SpaceX in 2002 with the goal of one day settling Mars. He has never wavered from that goal, and indeed, the company has made considerable progress in more than 2 decades. SpaceX now launches more than 90% of the world's mass to orbit, has nearly 90% of satellites in orbit, and backstops a large portion of the US government's civil and military activities in space. Only one man doing this, which is insane. Moreover, with Starship, SpaceX is building the first vehicle that could realistically send humans and a lot of the stuff humans need to survive on Mars to Mars one day. If Musk's rationale for keeping SpaceX private was to protect the Mars dream, is he abandoning this long-term standing aim? I don't think so. Not necessarily. It's likely that Musk sees artificial intelligence as a key part of Mars' vision. Whether one believes that Optimus robots will become a viable product or not, Musk does, and he's smoking about sending the robots to Mars to make the way smoother for the first human settlers. The beauty about I'll take a pause right here. Okay, let me just make this more into. Well, I'll continue in a bit. I'm so excited. Wow. The good thing about Tesla or the Elon is that, and Tesla, of course, is that you have this massive ecosystem outside of Tesla itself. You have a set of other companies that Tesla is going to benefit. And not just Tesla, SpaceX, XAI, Boring Company, Neuralink, Starlink. I mean, that's part of SpaceX, right? But that's the beauty about this stuff. That's the beauty of investing in Elon's company and stuff like that, because you get exposed to these things as well. Convergence, right? Big sheesh moment right there. Let's continue with this. Musk also believes that a larger and more financially robust SpaceX is necessary to undertake the settling of Mars. He understands that NASA will not pay for this, as the civil space agency is in the business of exploration and not settlement. For several years now, he has expressed that it will require about 1 million tons of supplies to be shipped to Mars to make a self-sustaining settlement. This is roughly 1,000 ships, and including refueling, at least 10,000 Starship launches. At $100 million per launch, that's $1 trillion in launch costs alone. That is insane. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of that. So it's insane. Musk has frequently expressed a concern that there may be a limited window for settling Mars. Perhaps financial markets collapse. Perhaps there's a worse pandemic. Perhaps a large asteroid hits the planet. Taking SpaceX public now is a bet that he can marshal the resources now during his lifetime to make Mars City 1 a reality. He is 54 years old. I like that. The plan is not without risks, of course. If AI is something of a bubble, 10 years from now, SpaceX may be sitting on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of satellites in space for which there is limited use. Maybe shareholders would rather SpaceX make them multimillionaires than make humans multiplanetary. But Musk has never shipped or shied away from risks. So doubling down on his most successful asset in this moment is precisely what one would expect him to do. And you know what? Elon Musk, as usual, Eric is correct. It's happening, guys. SpaceX IPO next year. I know most of you guys are going to watch this in the morning because right now you guys are sleeping because it's work, it's work tomorrow. So you guys will be watching this in the morning. Yeah. Get ready. Get flipping ready, man. This is, did not have SpaceX going. Well, I mean, I had an idea. It's not like that. I wasn't ruling it out. But yeah, that would be insane. Peggy in space, bro. I mean, I did go skydiving once. That thing was fun. But I don't mind. I mean, what you only live once, man. Let's go to space. Let's what's going on up? That'd be insane. Middle to next year. Oh yes. Let's effing go. What date? No date for now. but as Mike said, middle to late next year, maybe the case. That may be the case. Literal rockets to the moon. Exactly. Wonder how much it will be per share. That's what I mean. 1.5 trillion. It depends. It all depends on how many shares outstanding there is and stuff like that. And I was reading somewhere that SpaceX doesn't dilute. They actually do buybacks too, which is insane. I mean, that's how lean they are, right? Unlike Tesla, man. I know Tesla will do buybacks eventually, but that's a sheesh moment right there. Wow, wow, wow. And I had this discussion with Phil. And again, that's for the podcast is up for members only, but we'll be up for everybody on Saturday morning. And I had a talk with Joseph and Joe. We talked about all this stuff as well, which is just insane. I can't wrap my head around this stuff. I'm just in it again. Robotaxi, man, Robotaxi. That's it. That's it for me. But sheesh, SpaceX, count me in. Anything to do with Elon companies, I want as many shares as I possibly can. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say. Could you imagine? That'd be hilarious. Could he roll SpaceX under Tesla? No, I don't think so. I just learned that only Starlink Corp will make IPO, not SpaceX. Is that true? I don't know. In this article, it's talking about SpaceX IPO. Starlink is also good. I mean, Starlink is something that makes money actually compared to, SpaceX is making money too, but I guess through government contracts and such like that. But yeah, let's see. It's interesting, man. All this stuff is very, very interesting. But count me in. SpaceX going IPO, count me in. I think that'd be a very good long-term investment as well. I think Tesla will give much higher return than SpaceX, in my opinion. But SpaceX. I think, it's gonna sound crazy, but being in the business of, making other planets livable, that's something to be part of, right? My only question is that how are early Tesla investors, going to have access to SpaceX? That is the SpaceX stock. I hope that it's like, if you own stock before like 2020 or 2021 or something, you can, you'll get some stock or something like that. But yeah, jeez. Grok told me it's Starlink. Well, let's see. Let's see. Next year we'll find out. That's funny. Yeah, a point to a share. But yeah, that's it, guys. I mean, SpaceX. I was relaxing. I was chilling. I was actually, editing another podcast coming up, and this news came up, and I'm like, well, let's go live for this. Let's go talk about this because this is absolutely insane. That's what it is. So, anyways, guys, it's 10:30 here in Eastern time. If you guys are in Pacific time, maybe it's like, I think it's around like 7 there or something like that. But you guys go work tomorrow. I think you guys go work tomorrow. So get some sleep, man. Let's get some sleep. And then we'll be back tomorrow. I love you guys so much. Smash that like button and subscribe if you guys haven't already. If you guys haven't joined as a channel member, either here on X or on YouTube, I guess, here on YouTube as well. It's only $2 a month. And it's a way of supporting me. And there's exclusive content coming right as usual. So, love you all so much. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and good night. I'll see you guys in the next flipping video. Good night. Let's go. Sheesh.